There was an old lady who swallowed
A prawn.
She swallowed the...
Prawn.
to ride the...
Seahorse.
She swallowed
Saturday morning in the Diver household is daddy-daughter time for Stuart and Alessia.
There was an old lady who swallowed a whale.
Whale.
Like most 6-and-a-half-year-olds,
Get out of the cupboard, you monkey.
Alessia is spunky and spirited,
Let it go. Did you get one?
especially when it comes to sneaking lollies.
Shocker. See, master disciplinarian has it all wired.
This is a little girl who likes cartwheels
I'll pick a card and
and card tricks.
put it back. Okay. This is your card.
Yes!
How did you do that? Magic.
By magic.
All right, here we go. Done. Right.
She also loves making pancakes from her mother's recipe book.
How much butter do we need, Muncho?
No doubt, Muncho, as he calls her, has stolen Stuart's heart.
How do you rate them out of 10, just for look?
40.
140 out of 10. Well done, Dad. She's a pretty amazing little girl. She has a real understanding and a real empathy and a compassion that I haven't seen in a lot of kids that age, purely because I believe, what she's been through. She is key to where I am right now.
Alessia's birth in 2010 added a joyful and extraordinary chapter to the life of a man who over the past 20 years has suffered inconceivable loss, not once, but twice.
You sometimes get to that point where you think, we're like, can I love again? And you go through something so emotional and the loss is so big, you do really think in the back of your mind, maybe I've used up all of that and I'm done.
But in 1999, Stuart did find love again. It was 2 years after the landslide killed 18 people, including Stuart's wife, Sally. Thredbo local Rosanna showed the 29-year-old he could be happy again.
When you go through something major, you have to get to a point where you draw a line in the sand and you say, that was my life with Sally, and so therefore, what am I going to do? Well, I had a wonderful marriage to her, short marriage, but it was a great relationship and we did some amazing things, so why wouldn't I want to recreate that again?
And how elated were you to get a second chance?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, I always thought that Rosanna was way too good for me. So
She probably was.
Yeah, that's right, absolutely. that's my life story. It's so I was amazed that she even went out with me.
3 years into their relationship, Stuart and Rosanna married and planned to start a family almost immediately.
She was, loving and caring and looked after me, which was, exactly what I needed at that point in my life.
And then you had to look after her.
Yes.
How soon after you got married did you find out that she was sick?
Basically, the week after we got back from our honeymoon.
Rosanna was diagnosed with breast cancer. It was devastating news Stuart shared with his brother.
The first person I called, Ewan, and I'm just bawling my eyes out on the phone and just going like, what the fuck is going on here?
When you got that phone call from Stuart, how did you react?
Oh, crap. Yeah, a few tears at that time, and then we just put on the stoic Scottish attitude of, oh well, let's get going. What can we do? It is what it is. And we'll just have to deal with it as we roll.
Yeah, you describe yourself as a stoic Scotsman. Are you ever angry, Scotsman?
On the inside. Yeah, no. Yeah. There's definitely a bit of anger so in there somewhere, but well managed.
I mean, everyone feels anger at something, but it's, it comes back to the same thing. It's how you deal with it.
I mean, being on the site, it doesn't feel like 20 years ago, does it?
No, I mean, not at all.
As we saw with the Thredbo landslide, giving up has never been the diver way.
I mean, it's always tinged with a little bit of sadness, but it's definitely not something that overwhelms me. I actually like being here. It's pretty peaceful.
As he did following his rescue, on Rosanna's diagnosis, Stuart went into survival mode, and so did she. Operation after operation was followed by chemotherapy and radiation. At that time, had you given up all hope of having a family?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to lose another wife. And so, yeah, that was really in the back of our minds. But obviously, as, you know, the longer she survived and she got healthy again, then we started to think, oh, well, maybe, you know, this is something we could explore again. I always thought, and Rosanna and I spoke about it, that she may die at some point and then I'd be left with Alessia on my own, and did we really want that, etc. So there was a huge amount of thought that went into it.
But try they did. And after one miscarriage, their baby daughter Alessia was conceived.
She was 44 years of age when she had Alessia, so pretty amazing story, you know, and that's where, you know, I look at her and what she did in her life. Yeah, it's incredible.
Stuart and Alessia lost Rosanna 2.5 years ago after the cancer returned. Their grief was made more manageable by family counselling before Rosanna died, and a commitment to make every moment count.
Pre-grieving for your wife, not knowing when she's going to die, is brutally, brutally hard, and especially when you're involving a 4.5-year-old in it. But Rosanna had said, I'm going to share every day I can with Alessia. And so I think if you look at Alessia now, that's key, because she knew she was so loved by her mum, and they've locked away so many memories of, you know, sitting on the couch, you know, in this house and cuddling. And that's, you know, it's as simple now as all I need to do is cuddle her. And that's it. Because that just brings back the beautiful memories of being snuggled into her mum and being loved. It's simple as that.
In the lead up to her death, Rosanna made sure Alessia would always feel loved by her. She packed away special clothes and jewellery in a chest for her daughter, wrote her birthday cards for years into the future, and collected favourite recipes they'd made together.
To be able to have that there for Alessia, I think, was a huge thing for Rosanna to do, and really did comfort her, you know, especially in those last couple of weeks.
I know the questions that you had about raising a child on your own, where are those questions now?
Well, they're gone, because it's the most awesome thing ever. You know, it's great. I mean, Alessia calls me mum and dad, and, you know, so when she wants stuff, and she calls me mum, and then when she wants to manipulate me, she calls me mum.
The strength of the man was just unreal.
Stuart! Oh, another one!
It's been a long time.
Stuart Diver gained many admiring friends as he overcame challenge after challenge.
Good, mate.
Yeah, good.
One of them is Lieutenant Colonel Don Woodland, now retired from the Salvation Army.
I mean, you've been there for every important moment of my life, so which is special to me, which is what it's all about.
Don was there bedside and incredible support after Stuart was rescued from the landslide. And he led the anguished services at both Sally and Rosanna's funerals.
Naturally, it's got to be horrendous to have to walk that pathway twice so soon.
You're beautiful. There you go, gorgeous.
Alyssa brings hope. She brings life.
Ready to go?
And hopefully happiness.
All right.
Well,
Get out of here.
when you see the two of them together, we're reassured of that.
What do you think is the best part of skiing for your daughter?
I think it's the freedom it gives you. It's that feeling of being outdoors and doing something that just gives you that ultimate freedom.
It's not a bad backyard.
You ready, Alessia?
You ready to get off, Joe? Good girl.
Alessia has skied this winter wonderland since she was 2. And while Thredbo posed the greatest threat to Stuart 2 decades ago, he can't think of a safer place to raise his daughter.
It's a little utopia. It's an island in the middle of the big wide world, and there's so much adventure and so many friends and fun. It's awesome.
Okay, well, Alessia, are you going to go gentle on me down those slopes? Are you going to look after me going down here? You won't go too fast? Will you?
Try not to.
She's making no true commitments here.
Yeah, that's right. I know, that's all
I don't
right.
feel like I'm in safe hands at all.
Stuart is a former ski instructor, and Alessia is already an old hand on the slopes. While it all looks like play, much of Stuart's approach is about building up his daughter's resilience.
the truth of it is that's what we need to do. We need to provide a little bit of hardship, whether it's physical, whether it's emotional in some ways, so that kids are prepared for what's going to happen in the future. Now, I'm definitely going to give her the tools to make sure that if anything big does happen in her life, and even if anything small happens in her life, she's got the ability to deal with it.
In the early days after the Thredbo landslide, feeling the responsibility of being the sole survivor, Stuart kept his pain private.
I pretty well made that decision that anything I did in the public eye, I was going to put a positive spin on it.
Okay, so what was going on in the private eye?
Just crying. I mean, I was in the shower and crying and, you know, doing everything. I mean, it was a hard place to be.
Yeah, you were very determined not to cry on TV.
Absolutely. And I think in some ways that was detrimental to me because people just thought I was hard in some ways and callous. And, you know, even today it might be, you know, the way I talk, you know, openly and honestly about, you know, my 2 wives dying because, you know, that's what's happened in my life. How I deal with that myself is actually a really, really personal thing. And I've spent a lot of time and a lot of effort and put a lot of hard work into that. And I recommend that, you know, anyone who goes through trauma in their life does the same.
G'day, Matt. How are you? Yeah, good. How's it all set up? Yeah, everything.
Today, Stuart Diver, as operations manager, is second in charge at Thredbo.
It's just those ordinary moments.
It's a bit cold.
But his greatest success is as a father and as a man who was brave enough to seek help, to learn that trauma does not have to rob you of life. It may be the harder path at times, but we can all choose to be survivors.
Good morning, guys.
Have a fun day. You can't look at life any other way. That's it. I mean, you've got a choice, and my choice is look at it in a positive light and sure, have your emotional lows and go to those dark places, but, you know, make sure at the end of the day when you go to bed that the last thing you're thinking is, you know, how bloody lucky am I, and how great is the world, and, you know, let's move along and see what we can achieve tomorrow.
And all your hopes alive today.